Oh boy, don't I love Todd Mcfarlane. What a great guy. What a great artist. Well, I love everything this guy does, honestly. I mean, almost everything. But you know what? It's fine. I specifically want this guy as a Spider-Man toy in my collection. And I know just the place to look.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from. It's a letter from our friends.
Alright. From the kingdom of AliExpress, we got a package. From our friend, AliExpress. Anyway, let's see what's in this package. Okay, so here we have the Todd McFarlane Toybiz knockoff AliExpress action figure. That's a mouthful. This is based off of the artist Todd McFarlane, who drew Spider-Man in the 90s. And specifically, the Toybiz figure released to commemorate him. I think it was actually pretty neat of this bootleg company to use the exact same mold, but they didn't paint in any of the web lines, which I'm not shocked by having it be a cheap bootleg off AliExpress. But he does have this strange mystery white substance in between some web lines on his face and torso. I kind of don't want to know what Spider-Man was doing before he got to me. But yeah, I mean, let's get a better look at this guy and check out his articulation. So his head, moves on the ball joint, which isn't too bad. He actually looks down a really good amount, I'd say. And, I mean, I really like it. He gets some good range, and he can go up as well. Now, if you look at this figure, you can kind of see that the lenses aren't painted all the way, but not that big of a deal. Anyway, back to the articulation. He can crunch forward a hell of a ton. Like, that is some pretty good arch game. And he can also arch back a hell of a ton as well. I mean, like, look at it. Look at that arch game. God damn, Spider-Man. Anyway, yeah. He has butterfly joints, and, they work fine enough. They actually work really well, surprisingly. I was kind of scared that these figures, or this bootleg, would break really easily, and, like, when I try to move the arm. But it actually holds up pretty well. Like, if you see, he can put it up pretty high and all around, but getting it up... Okay, so maybe I kind of contradicted that. Anyway, he's kind of made out of a softer plastic, and they didn't even bother to paint the rest of the arm. And if you can see how soft this plastic is, you can kind of just, like, bend it and pop the arm off, pop the hand off, I should say. It's kind of strange, but, it's whatever, and you can see the hand's almost falling off. I might want to click that into place. He has articulated fingers, which, I like in my Spider-Man figures, but this guy, they're a little wonky. They're kind of hard to move because they're so loose and easy to move, if that makes sense. They're very malleable, which is just weird, and they're very misshapen. So you can make them flip someone off, but it just looks really weird. It's like, and every time you touch one slightly, they all go up. It's really weird how it's like that. Like, I'm struggling trying to get just one up, and it's curved. Like, that finger is really curved, and I don't know why. But maybe he broke his hand doing some, Spider-Man stuff. I don't know. Also, not to mention that they didn't paint the spider emblem. But now going to the bottom of the figure, they actually put the ripples of the fabric in there. You can kind of see how soft the plastic is on the legs as well. It has your standard Toybiz Spider-Man toe articulation, and on the hinge, the little calf swivel, double jointed knees, which I appreciate. but as you can also see, the leg pegs are kind of like darker in some spots, which is weird. And they used a different plastic than the rest of the blue on the suit. It's really shiny on these like ball joint hip things, but I mean, it's not the biggest deal. Like I said, it's a bootleg, and I can't be too mad at it for the price. And there's the hand almost falling off again. But yeah, overall, this figure's not awful, and he's kind of charming. If you don't want to drop a fortune on the actual one, I think this would be a great alternative. Now, I think the right thing to do before we send this video off is do a comparison, because my brother, the legend himself, God himself, Andrew Geeko 4, actually owns this figure. And he lent it to me to do a comparison, so let's do that real quick. Alright, so here the two figures are together, and if you couldn't tell, the one on the right is obviously the official one. Side by side, God, this guy looks awful, but here he is. The official one looks so much better. It has a lighter blue. The eyes are more filled in, which is nice. And everything's painted, like, as you can see, the spider logo is painted on, like, the fake one. Yeah, I mean, you know, those little, like, joints aren't so glossy on the hips, and turning this guy around, you can see he kind of has a scuff on this one, but that's just because he's so old. And, you know, turning this guy around, we can see that he doesn't have a scuff because he's straight from a bootleg factory, and I mean, you can see obviously from behind on the official one how much more paint work went into it opposed to this one. Now, does that mean this bootleg is necessarily a bad figure? No, not if you're not trying to break the bank or anything, but obviously the official one would win in this scenario and puts the bootleg to shame. So, what are my final thoughts on this figure? Yeah, he's okay.